Good morning. Welcome to the second episode of Morning Mug Talks. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Firstly, I want to just give a shout out to everyone who supported the show last week and sent me messages with feedback, with just letting me know that they loved it. I had guys listening to it on the way to work and they were like, can't wait to hear the next one next week. And I think that was so valuable for so many people. So many of my beautiful friends who listened and just gave me shout outs. It was really, really so humbling, and I just had so much gratitude for receiving those. So for everyone who went out of their way to reach out, thank you, thank you. For everyone who listened, thank you. Yeah, it felt really, really good. So I am just feeling super stoked about this and excited to continue the weekly morning mug talks going forwards. It's fun. I really enjoyed it too. So today we have, for those who are not watching, we've got a Yellowstone National Park mug today. It's one of my favorites. Also not my biggest mug, but still good size. So, you know, we're running with it and we're happy. So grab your mugs, get comfy, or if you're on your way to work, hopefully you're sipping a takeaway coffee or a tea or a hot chocolate or something and you're listening in. So today, the thing that's been on my mind this week has been resourcefulness and how a lot of the time we can get to points in our life where we're in a rut, we're in the trenches, we are just feeling stuck, and or there's things like, it just feels like everything's piling on top. It's like one thing after another, like how many more things do I have to go through before this incredibly difficult season is past me? And it can look like things, you know, maybe you're in overwhelm, and when we get, for me particularly, whenever I've been in a space of overwhelm and I've got too much going on, or I'm not sleeping well, or both, too much on and not sleeping well combined, what a doozy, never a good time. I make mistakes. Things happen. I'm not fully paying attention. I'm not fully conscious of my actions each day, each moment. And so I tend to make mistakes when I'm in that space. And those mistakes can lead to quite expensive things. For example, you might get caught speeding, or I'll never forget one day, I got two car ones for you. Once I was not sleeping well, there was massive storms. It was when I owned my gym in Newcastle and I had to get up at 4:15, get out the door 4:30, drive to work, off no sleep, leaks in my unit. The rain was coming in that heavy that I had to get up and put buckets around, and there was a leak that always went right on above my head, above my bed, onto my bed. So naturally, not sleeping, my bed's getting leaked on. I get up, I go upstairs after I've put buckets everywhere to try soak everything up, and just didn't get any sleep. Anyways, the alarm's going off at 4:15. I'm getting up, getting out the door, run out the door, jump in the car, driving to work. It's been absolutely flogging down all night, and I honestly did not know that this one particular area flooded. And so I'm driving along in my little Toyota Corolla and I hit the water, which looked like the road. It was pissing down rain that hard that the surface just looked like tar, to be honest. It's the best I can say. And I've hit this patch of water in a flood zone, and I thought, oh my God, what a massive aquaplane. And then my car starts floating sideways. And I was like, oh my God. I had to wind down the window, climb out of the car, lean back in, grab all my stuff out of the back seat that I had for the gym, grab the keys out of the car. Actually, no, I forgot the keys. Swam out to the other side, got to the other side with all my stuff, gone, oh my God, I need the keys to get into the gym. Swam back, got the keys out of the car, swam back to the other side, had to ring one of the girls who was on the way to the gym, who I knew would be training at 5 a.m. I was like, can you please pick me up? She's like, yeah, what happened? And I was like, oh my God, I've just drove my car into a flood. And, you know, at this point I'm just laughing because I'm like, who does that? Like, what an idiot. What an idiot. Who does that? So I was just laughing, and everyone's like, why are you laughing? This is horrible. And I was like, oh, it's nothing I can do about it. My car is literally floating in a puddle, a massive puddle, 5 minutes around the corner. So that was one of those moments. Another moment when this had happened was another car moment. I had to run out the door, got into my Hilux at this point because I had to upgrade after that. Obviously, that car was completely written off. Upgraded, got a Hilux, which I loved. Lexi, sexy Lexi, shout out, miss her. I got a Hilux, and one morning, again, I had not been sleeping. I had a lot going on. My mind was in different places, the overthinking, right? Not paying attention to what I was doing. Ran out, jumped in the car, realized I'd forgot the gym keys. So jumped out of the car, ran back inside. I'd taken the car brake off. Car starts rolling backwards into the freaking house of where I was living. So the car rolls back, hits the house. Didn't do any major damage, just a little tiny toe ball nudge. Thankfully, it was on a flatter surface. It didn't roll fast. Could have been so much worse. And yeah, it just, it's one of those moments where when life is throwing curveballs, you're overthinking, you're overwhelmed, you're not conscious, you're not paying attention. That's when you tend to pile onto yourself because you're not grounded, you're not regulated, you are off out in the ether, not paying attention, and then it creates more things on top of what you're already going through. And so I really just wanted to kind of make that point of remember when life's going on and there's a lot going on for you, take a second, take a breath, bring in tools into your life to get yourself regulated so that you don't then go and add more crap on top of the pile that you're already having to climb over or get through, right? So really just want to make that point and share a couple of stories about my life and some of the silly things that I have done. There's many more to come, don't worry. I'm sure I'll share some more with you. So tapping into resourcefulness, when we're in this space and we're going through a lot, what also can tend to happen is we're in a place where we just can't see a way out. You cannot see a way out. Life is not going to plan. You're in the overwhelm, you're in the burnout, and it's really easy to drop into almost a victim mindset, right? Of why is this happening to me? Why can't I catch a break? Why does this always happen to me? Why, right? That victim mindset mentality. And when you fall into that, you're not tapping into resourcefulness. You're almost unconsciously waiting for someone to come and save you or something to come and save you. And unfortunately in life, that is a rare occurrence. We need to become self-led, we need to become resourceful, and we have to get ourselves out of the crap, right? And so whenever you feel if you can ever catch yourself falling into that victim mindset, I want you to shift it into a self-led mindset. One where the questions change, right? Instead of why is this happening to me? Why can't I catch a break? It moves into what are my options? What can I control in this particular situation? What can I learn from this scenario, from this life experience, from this particular issue and problem that's happening? What is it here to teach me, right? Those flips in questions change everything about the situation you're in. What is my next step? Right? And I mentioned this in one of the reels that I've recorded recently, writing down a list of, okay, what is my current problems and issues? Write down a list of what your current problems and issues are. Next to that list, I want you to write down what the solution would be for the problem. All right, so write down the solutions of the problem. And then to tap into that resourcefulness, to tap into that self-led mindset, these are the solutions to my problem. What are the things that I can start doing to achieve that solution? And there'll be multiple things per solution that you can start to action each and every day that helps you to move through this difficult time so that you don't stay in the victim mindset of like, why is this happening to me? And stuck on the problem and the issue for as long as, however that takes, for you to sit in that and just get more frustrated with yourself. Or, right, the solution to that would be this. How do I achieve that? What do I need to do tomorrow, the next day, next week, next month? What do I need to do to start achieving the solution? And I guarantee you that as soon as you flip that mindset, as soon as you flip your mindset and you start leaning into the self-led version, everything's going to change. Not only are you going to leave anxiety, because when you're stuck in victim mentality and you're focused on the why is this happening to me, blah, 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 it sets in real anxiety because there's no solution and no way out in your mind. But when you move into a self-led mindset and you start looking at the solutions and how to get there, immediately you are giving yourself purpose, you're giving yourself direction, you're giving yourself structure. All three beautiful ways to reduce anxiety and get you moving forwards out of the stuck place that you're in. And another thing to really remember is two things actually. One, learn tools. Like, please invest in yourself, invest in your growth, invest in your knowledge, because knowledge is power. Learn things that help you to get grounded when you notice you are in that overwhelmed state. When you notice that things are really heavy, that's when you need to learn this stuff the most. So learn the tools that help you get regulated. Breath work, meditations, walking and just being in nature. Like, nature is literally the best medicine. I know you've probably heard it a million times, but it truly is. Moving your body, that's how you move stuck energy, right? Because every emotion that you feel and every emotion that you don't deal with and you don't face and you don't work through or you don't process, it means you're suppressing it, you're avoiding it, you're trying to ignore it, and then your body holds on to it. So what movement does is it helps to remove and release all that stagnant energy that you've been just like building up. So movement's fantastic. Hypnotherapy, really good as well, right? Because it helps you to shift out of the subconscious belief systems that are unresourceful for you into more resourceful belief systems. Having a coach, if you prefer psychologists, you prefer psychiatrists because you're needing that extra level of support and help for whatever your situation is, reach out to them. And ensure you're talking to your friends, talk to your family, talk to the people who support you and love you to help get you through it. But really, when you can master getting out of the victim mindset and into your own self-led mindset, that is going to change the trajectory of your life. It's going to change how you handle every objection, how you handle every obstacle that comes your way. And start believing that there is more. Really start believing that. It's something that I tap into all the time. I hold on to this. I'm like, yes, things are hard, but I know I can get myself out of that. I know that in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, when I look back on this particular hard moment, the only things that I am going to know is that A, I learnt lessons from that, and B, the enormity of the issue right now is going to be a blip on the radar of my life, right? And that's another thing that we can do when we're in the moment, we're in that dense place where everything is just happening and it's like this is just too much. Remember that in 6 months to a year time, when you look back on it, there'll be other problems and issues that you're having to face. Maybe you'll have reached a really peaceful season in your life and there won't be that many problems that you're having to face. But you'll be able to look back on that and go, man, I can't believe I made that mound out of that situation. Or like, yeah, man, that felt huge at the time, but really in the scheme of things, it was actually not that bad. Or actually that was the pivot and that was the challenging time that I needed to get to where I am now, and I'm so thankful for it. There are moments in my past where I can look back and go, that was a really difficult time, but man, it changed me, it caused me to pivot, and I am so grateful that I had to go through that experience to get to where I am today. And that's a beautiful reminder to bring in when you are feeling like life is just a lot. So yeah, really wanted to just drop that in and have a bit of a chat around tapping into your resourcefulness and tapping into that self-led mindset. Because when you can do that, like, you always have a choice. Truly you do. And even when you feel like you don't have one, you do. It might not be a choice that you're overly comfortable with. It might not be a choice that you had envisioned for your life. It might not be a choice that brings you a whole lot of joy in the moment. However, you know that making that choice is going to be short-term pain for long-term gain. Right? It's like, okay, I need to do this. I need to hunker down. I need to dig deep. I need to go face those dark parts of myself. I need to go through this heartbreak. I need to go through this job loss. I need to go through this tough time in my business. I need to go through this loss of someone or something. I need to go through this incredibly difficult financial time, because whatever's on the other side of that is going to be so much better. So much better. Because you are capable. You are capable of overcoming this. I promise you that. And if you feel like you just need a little bit of a hand, you just need that person who can bring in an outside perspective, who's not emotionally swept up in the current scenario for you, that can just bring that bird's eye view and be like, hey, you got this. Let's look at how to be resourceful. Let's look at how to get into that self-led space. Then hopefully this particular episode will be really helpful and beneficial for you. And if not, reach out to somebody. Get yourself someone, a coach like myself. Get yourself a professional who can be there for you and support you through this. Because I mean, I've had so many coaches, so many moments through my life. I remember the reason why I became a coach. Let's go down this road. The reason why I became a coach in 2018, went through a really, really crappy breakup. Really crappy. It's one of those moments where I look back and I go, oh, I'm so thankful for that, because it brought me to where I am today and multiple different places in between then and now. But during it was really hard. And just before I went through it, I had got a coach. And she's an epic coach in America. And I had hired her, and she was the first coach I'd ever had. She's the first time I'd ever kind of looked into really personal development. And she taught me so much. And if nothing else, it showed me how powerful it can be to have somebody to help you shift your mindset when you are in the thick of it, to bring in perspective, to give you other ways of thinking, to ask you the questions that you would never even have thought to ask yourself. And she helped me so much through that period. And ever since then, that was when I knew, I was like, this is something that I think I would want to do one day. And we even had sessions where I got her to kind of talk me through what that would look like, becoming a coach. Lo and behold, it didn't happen until, wow, like 3 years, 4 years later, did I then become a coach and start studying. So it took its course the way it was supposed to. The journey unfolded how it was meant to. I just followed the breadcrumbs of life to get me to where I did. And yeah, that was a major pivot and turning point. One of the main ones in my life, for sure. And maybe you can relate to that if you've been through, a horrible breakup, or you've been through a really crappy relationship or a divorce. You can really look back on that moment and go, man, that was tough. Because when you go through anything that's relationship wise, there is so many emotions, and this is why it's really a really hard time to go through. There's so many emotions involved. There is betrayal, perhaps. There is heartbreak. There is anger, sadness, shame, guilt, inadequacy, like just not feeling like you were enough, feeling like you failed, so many fears, what happens next. Like, you literally go through the most diverse magnitude of heavy, heavy, deep emotions And that's why they are so difficult. That's why so many people feel so in despair when they do go through a relationship breakdown of some kind. Because you really are going through it. Like, you're really going through it. And unless you know how to process and regulate those emotions, you are going to try and avoid them. You're going to be annoyed at yourself for the fact that you still feel them. You're going to wish that they were just, you wouldn't feel it anymore. You're going to want to be 5 years down the track instead of where you are right now, learning the lessons that you're supposed to learn, feeling all the feels, healing, looking at yourself really hard in the mirror of like, how did I contribute to that, right? Because we have to ask that. If you go through a relationship breakdown and someone asks you, what was your role in that? And you can only blame them, you are not taking accountability or ownership for your part in that. Because it always takes two for a relationship to break down. And maybe your part in it was, I abandoned myself throughout that so much so that I let them treat me like that. Or I wasn't trusting in myself and sure enough in myself to be able to have the difficult conversations so that that wasn't a behavior that kept happening. Or I stayed and I shouldn't have stayed. Like, whatever it might be. Or it's that, yeah, hey, my attachment styles, my programming, my conditioning, my upbringing, my wounds led me to choose somebody who was ultimately going to do that. And I let it happen because I didn't know that that's what I was choosing. Repeating certain cycles, father wounds, mother wounds, whatever it might be, they exist. It's a thing. Trust me, and I can do a whole episode on that later on. But yeah, relationship breakdowns are really, really tough. And so it can be really easy to fall into that victim mindset when you go through one. Like, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? Why am I not lovable? Blah, blah, blah. Victim, victim, victim. At some point, you have to call yourself out on your own BS and go, all right, what is this teaching me? Where am I supposed to go from here? What's next for me? What do I get to now make my life look like? What lessons do I get to learn from this so I don't go through this again? Right? There's so much opportunity in the painful moments. And so I really just wanted to bring this episode to you to hopefully inspire you to know that you can tap into that resourcefulness. You can tap into that self-led mindset. If you need help, reach out. But you've got this. I want this to inspire you to take action. I want this to inspire you to know that this isn't forever. This is just a season. And it'll be one that you look back on and go, yeah, that sucked. That sucked a lot, but it brought me to here. And I'm pretty happy with what my life looks like right now. So I'm grateful for it. When you can get to that moment, like I don't remember the exact day or the exact moment that I was able to have that thought, but I know that when I finally did go, man, I'm grateful that happened. Oh, the freedom, the absolute liberating freedom that brings you is, there's not really a whole lot that compares to that feeling. There's not a whole lot. It's a really good feeling to have because it's like, oh, I made it through that horrible time and I'm actually grateful because when one door closes, another door opens, or many doors open, and you get to look back and just be super chuffed with yourself for going through it. So yeah, just know that that day's coming for you. And maybe you've done something that you deeply regret. Maybe there's decisions that you've made, or you've hurt people in the past that you really, really regret those decisions. If that's the case, then you learn from them. You own those mistakes. Own the mistakes. Take accountability and ownership for them. Make sure you don't repeat them. And do the work that you need to do on yourself to make sure you change whatever it was that led you down that path. Do the work on yourself to change the mindset and the subconscious belief systems running in the background that lead you to be and act and do certain things that you're not happy with yourself with, that you're not proud of yourself for. That's the pivot for you. The pivot for you is to go, yeah, okay, I messed up. I messed up. I don't want to do that again. I hate the way I feel because I did that. Own it, apologize, do the work, pivot, become the version of the person that you want to be. Start leading yourself like someone that you would follow. By the way, I'm getting that printed. It's going on the wall behind me so that you can see it while we're on this, because that is my new favorite quote of all time. Lead yourself like someone worth following. I love it. And it's the motto for my self-led program my 6-month container that I run as a coach. Lead yourself like someone worth following. If you can apply that principle to your life, oof, game changing. That is life changing stuff right there. I love it. And it's something that I apply to my life. You know, I really want to be somebody that I am proud of, and I want to be somebody who does lead myself into places where I'm like, yeah, that was really hard, and that was a tough thing to go through, but I'm really glad I did it, because the alternative of not trying, the thought of not trying and the thought of living with that decision isn't enough for me. That's not it for me. All right, well, I don't think I have really much else to add to that. Thanks for joining me, everybody. It was another great conversation to have. Morning mug chats. Can't wait to bring this episode to you and hear all about it. Please let me know. You have no idea how much joy and love in my heart I felt when I got feedback from everyone who listened. And some people, you know, even just the conversations that stemmed from this have given me more ideas for other episodes. So please comment on the episode. Please like it. Please DM me and let me know your takeaways and what you got from it and how it helps you, because that's going to be why I'm doing this. It's because I want to connect with you guys. So please let me know. Yeah, all right. Have a beautiful day. Can't wait to hear from you, and can't wait to see you all and speak to you all next week. Have an amazing day. Bye.